Consistency is the key to good pickleball. If you are persistent, you can stick to the point and let the other team make mistakes. If you are persistent, you can choose and execute the right shots with a high percentage to win the rally. But what more secret tactics are helpful for the game? Let's know more about them. Love the Pickleball Net. Whether you're playing double pickleball or single pickleball, the key to winning pickleball is to hit the pickleball over the pickleball net and between the pickleball court lines one more time from your opponent. A simple tip to help you with this is to hit most of your shots in the center pickleball court, except for drinks, which should make most of your drinks on the cross. This is usually because the center of the pickleball court gives you the largest margin of error. After all, the net is at its lowest point and you can miss a little to the left or a little to the right while keeping the pickleball in play. Medium strokes are also effective when there is a large gap between your opponents or when you can have your opponents fight each other over who gets the medium punch between them. Another great pickleball tip I first learned from Joe Baker in his book, The Line Pickleball. The winning doubles pickleball strategy is to aim not only for the center of the pickleball court, but also your feet in the activated center spot. Opponent's backhand side. For example, if you were playing with two left-handed players, aim for the left heel of the opposing player on the right/straight side of the pickleball court. The left heel is the backhand foot in the center of the pickleball court. Dink cross court. We remind you that it is important to keep the pickleball low, as this will prevent your opponent from attacking with aggressive shots. Keeping the acid balls down requires strong drinking skills. A tip for hitting hard is to hit mostly cross-court dinks as opposed to straights or infield. This is because the cross-court dunk gives you the largest margin for error, as the cross-court dunk goes over the lowest part of the pickleball net, which is the middle. You get a natural angle and you have more leeway to learn. In other words, cross-court is more forgiving and you don't have to be as perfect. As a result, you need to focus on a cross-court play very well, and 70% to 80% of your shots will probably have to be cross-court. However, it's important to note that not all dinks have to be cross-court. You should mix up your drink now and then to be unpredictable in your pickle strategy. Also, when you're in trouble, for example, when an opponent knocks you out with an aggressive shot, then cross-court shots are very difficult to make and have a very low percentage. Therefore, if you find yourself in a predicament and losing your balance, consider a pickleball reset, which would be a simple straight game. Let the outballs go. Whether you play singles or doubles pickleball, one of the best skills you can have on the pickleball court is the ability to catch the ball. This is especially true when playing against players who enjoy pickleball. Watch the outside ball. Crouch and dodge the ball. Don't help your opponent stay focused. Two heads are better than one, so work with your partner to figure out the ball. Unleash the shoulder-high drives. When your opponent slams the pickleball toward you at chest or shoulder height, release. Your opponent's pursuit may be over. This is especially true if your opponent shoots a pickleball from the no-volley zone line. Watch the height of contact. If your opponent throws a pickleball that goes under the net, consider not letting it go. This is because your opponent has to hit a low-lying pickleball or knock it over the net. By hitting the pickleball, your opponent will send it down a likely out-of-bounds trajectory. Game patterns. When you are playing a lot of points with your opponent, try to analyze their pattern of play. Does your opponent consistently pickleball every shot? Once your opponent reaches a certain point on the court, does that drive go too high and get out? Try to find patterns that will help you predict and identify balls. Body language, as well as patterns of play, pay attention to your opponent's body language and faces. For example, a large swing and a flat or closed side of the paddle indicate approaching aspirations. Use these clues to predict attacks, including attacks. Remember to let the ball out of play. The ball out is an easy point for you and your partner. Hitting the out ball keeps your opponent on the point, which is something you want to avoid, of course. Patience. Patience is very important in cucumber sports. Practicing patience as a pickleball player is a skill that many players lack. On the pickleball field, often the player who accelerates the pickleball first loses points because his opponent's counterattack is better than the initial acceleration. So it's important to be patient, let the points add up, and only attack the pickleball when it's a shot. Play smarter, not harder. Don't leave any gaps in the middle between you and your teammates. Those gaps are easy targets for your opponents. Move from left to right with your partner. A helpful tool I've found is to imagine that you have an 8-foot piece of string connecting you to your partner. Move in sync to cover all the space while keeping some distance between the two of you, constantly changing your position in close coordination with your partner. Instead of running and diving around the space to close the gap, save your energy by strategically covering the space between you and your partner. Eliminate holes and easy targets for your opponents to exploit. Running and sweating can make it appear you are playing harder or better than your opponent, but sometimes thinking, predicting where the ball is going, and making it harder for the other team to find opportunities can be a much more successful play. That's the idea behind playing smart. Less lobbing. I think we played all the games where we had serial lobbers on the pitch. Can it work? Safe. Will this take you to the next level you are aiming for? No. Sometimes we need compliments, and there are opportunities for good compliments. I was more specific about the intentional hit on the third line of the baseline. What are we doing? You won't overcome them often. If so, it will most likely come out. Drill. I just started playing for fun. Do you know what's not fun? The inability to get consistent hits and points ended early due to unforced errors. Drilling can be a lot of fun. You'll hit more balls and get better practice per hour than playing. Oh yeah, now you want to break through. If you want that extra competitive edge, keep points in every workout. It always fuels my fire. I like Simon Jardim's workout below. Pick a target. How often do you think about where you hit the ball? It's not just who you hit the ball with, but where you hit it. Thinking of hitting a backhand shot. Remember hitting the third shot in the middle? You won't automatically put the ball exactly where you want it, but aiming the ball is very helpful to get the ball where you want it and helps you in strategy. Don't be afraid to play alone. When I started pickleball the first summer, I couldn't get enough of it. I ride a bicycle and go to court at every opportunity. The only problem is sometimes I'm the only person there. We all know that you can practice service alone. Set a marker as you practice your serve. I use bottled water. See how many balls it takes to hit a water bottle deep in the field. Your deep serve will help you set up a much easier third shot. Are you building up too much overhead on the internet? Hitting the fence with too much overhead? Yes, I've been there too. You can throw the ball in the air or hit it with your racket. This is an ideal opportunity to practice collecting balls.